Welcome to People Doing Good for Others, where we praise and celebrate and honor those who truly matter in our communities, who give and share and care and look forward to the day to matter in the lives of others. I'm Gary York, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. And we want to thank Wilkes Communications, River Street Productions, and 100.9 WIFM for this opportunity to share with you today. My featured guest is Kristin Staley. She's the program director at the Ruby Blackburn Adult Daycare Center over in North Wilkesboro, and such a delightful young lady of great concern for people and compassion to help in a very special way. So, Ms. Staley, I'm so honored to have you here today, and I've spent some time with you as we are going to bring some outstanding information to people today. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And you're a Wilkes native and the school's here, so tell us about the growing up and eventually the calling to help people. And you do it wonderfully.
Well, thank you very much. As you said, my name is Kristin Staley, and I am the program director at the Ruby Purdue Blackburn Adult Daycare. I grew up in Ferguson, where I currently live. Me and my husband were blessed to build a house there right next to my family's homestead. We both grew up in Wilkes County. I went to Boomer Ferguson Elementary School. I guess my favorite teacher in the whole world would probably be Miss Gail Howe. She was my fourth grade teacher, and she inspired me to do well, and she kept me on the straight and narrow while I was there. Then I was blessed to attend the middle school, Woodward, here, the only one that we had in Wilkes County at the time. And then I moved on to Wilkes Central High School. I graduated in 2004. I met several people, mostly my sports coaches were very instrumental in the person I am today, I guess. Their discipline that they taught you, and your self-discipline and your caring nature, they taught a lot about that. Then I went to some college and decided to be a CNA, and I was able to take that class as the first class to take a CNA class while I was in high school.
You were 16 then,
yeah,
right?
I took it when I was 16. I started working at Wilkes Senior Village when I was 16. I would work every other weekend and after softball practice or volleyball practice, whichever. And I was able to work as a CNA from at Wilkes Senior Village from the age of 16 all the way until I was 27. And then I was blessed to see the ad on Facebook for the Ruby Purdue Blackburn Adult Daycare for the activities program director, and I called about it, set up an interview on the same day, went for my interview, went home, did a couple months worth of activities calendars for Miss Snyder, my boss, returned promptly to give her that, and then I was hired on the spot, so I was very blessed.
So that the effort that you put into that interview that morning certainly made a significant impression on Ms. Jennifer Snyder, and you became a great team right then.
Yes, we have an awesome team. We all work together. We have 9 staff members on staff, and everybody has their own role, but we all work together. When a piece is missing, we know it. So we have an awesome team.
Let's go back and share this feeling. Did this happen one day that your role in being such a person of great compassion to help folks who maybe need a little help? Can you remember that happening as a youngster?
I do. I used to attend Beaver Creek Advent Christian Church there in Ferguson, and there was a lady there. Her name was Edith Marie Carter. She's since passed. She's the owner and proprietor of the Whippoorwill Village in Ferguson. And she was my Sunday school teacher, and she was my nursery teacher, and she was the play director, and she was the director of the church, and there was no one that she met that she didn't try to take care of. She took care of kids. She would go and load her car down and take everybody to church that would get in it, and she would make sure that we had what we needed, and she would take us to the village, and took us to church every time it opened. She was always such a caring person.
What was her name?
Edith Marie Carter.
Okay.
She
wow.
she was a great individual.
So that role model just helped you pull your ideas together and to become the wonderful caregiver you are today.
Yes, she would always take us to the nursing homes and things like that to give out things that we had made at church, or just to talk and to the elderly people. And I always felt a connection with people that were elderly. I like to talk to them and hear their stories and do things for them that they weren't able to do.
Ms. Staley, you also talked about volunteering in the special needs class when you were at Wilkes Central. Tell us that.
I did. During my 4 years at Wilkes Central, I was able to do some volunteer work in the special needs classes to help them to plan activities for them to do and to interact with them and make them feel like part of the team, because a lot of times they're in classes all of their own, and so they don't get a lot of stimulation with the other population. So I was blessed to be able to interact with them.
Now you are a significant leader at the Ruby Blackburn Adult Daycare Center. In essence, what is this outreach of the ministry of the center? Tell us about that.
Our center, our motto is to change how you live, not where you live. And that in essence is just to try to stimulate the elder population that stays at home with their family, that is blessed to stay at home with their family and not to be inside of a nursing facility or a long-term care facility. What we do is we bring them in every morning and we try to talk about their day and maintain their independence and help them keep their physical independence as well as their mental stability. We encourage them to do things for themselves and to tell us how they feel and have a lot of choice in the way that their care is given.
Choices?
Yes.
Wow, what a great word.
We give a lot of choices. As far as my activities every day, we have a participant advisory committee that we get together every month, and it's a handful of participants, whoever wants to come, and they're able to give me their
feedback.
Yes, on everything that we do, whether they like it, whether they dislike it, what they'd rather have, their food preferences, things of that nature. So we're able to do that.
And you call that an advisory council?
Yes, our participant advisory council, and we get together every month.
Every month. Mm-hmm. And so the participant, and that's our guest is a participant, and you say, well, how do you like us, or how are we doing? Is that kind of how it goes?
Yes. Unlike a lot of businesses, we are able to give out surveys to our families, and we ask them periodically what they like about us, what they don't like about us. We bring the families into the care process. We also the participants dictate what we do in a month. They dictate what we have for lunch. I mean, they dictate what our snacks are, what our activities are, what they enjoyed, what our singers are. Anybody that comes in, whatever we do, they sound off and tell me what they like and what they don't like.
Describe that participant. You have a significant interest in dementia and Alzheimer's disease, and working with that person. How did that happen? Did you say you had a family member that needed extra help?
I did. I was blessed to take care of two grandparents that suffered from dementia, and that was ultimately their demise. But I was blessed to take care of them and interact with them and able to educate my family on how to care for them and how to talk to them, their communication, things like that. And that makes me feel, it helps me to take my own perspective and give it to our participants, because we've been able to see different cases, because no one is the same. They're all different. And that's how we try to treat them, as different individuals. Yes. Instead of treating them as a group or one single being, we try to look at the person. All of our care is person-centered. Okay.
Ms. Staley, as the program director, I want to revisit as part of your interview was that monthly calendar.
Yes.
Let's go back and give us some idea of what goes into developing a monthly calendar.
I pull a lot of things from different resources. The internet is great. We have High Country AAA who helps us give a lot of resources that the participants may like. I take a 30-day calendar, and we're open Monday through Friday. And I take it and we do certain days of the week, and every day has a theme, and everything we do during that day is revolved around the theme for the day. What will start out as people start coming in about 8, 9 o'clock, and we start with talking to them. How was your day? How was your afternoon? What did you have for supper? Try to stimulate some thinking. You know, they have to remember what they had. They have to remember what they did. And then we have a schedule. Depending on the day, we try to keep a consistent volunteer rotation. That way, the person that comes on Monday morning, they know they're coming. Like yesterday, you were able to meet Robert. They knew Robert was coming at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. So everybody that morning automatically started asking about Robert and if he was coming to sing. And so then we try to do some sort of music stimulation in the morning, first thing. Then we break off and do an exercise group. And then we do lunch. And then we have a cool down after lunch. So everybody,
cool down.
Yes, we try to get everybody to sit down and just relax and calm down and gather themselves. That way it's not overstimulating. So then we can start more activities after lunch around 2 o'clock. We try to have another music group come in, or we switch around our activity, their tactical activity. We try to get them to make something every day.
Make something.
We try to get them to during Christmas, we did a Christmas ornament every day, whether it was a glass ornament or a plastic ornament or a paper ornament. We try to get them to do something with their hands that causes them to think and put things together and follow directions every day so that they get that stimulation. We also are able to, after lunch, take them inside, and we have a 30-day or a 3-week rotating menu, which dictates what our lunch and our snacks are. So a lot of times it'll say a fruit and a grain. Well, I take that as we can have apple crisp because that's a fruit and a grain. So I pull a couple of them in that are able to be supervised to use snacks or to use knives and follow direction. And they'll peel their own apples and they'll cut them up, and I'll set all the ingredients out, and they'll follow a recipe and they'll make 2 apple crisps and they'll bake them, and it's fulfilling to them to see and to have everybody eat something that they made, because in their lifetime they were taking care of a family, they were taking care of themselves, they were doing things to take care of others, and this makes them feel like they're still useful and they can do things.
So encouragement is a great part of the success or happiness of your participant. Is that?
Yes, we encourage independence with everything.
Is that a great word?
That's an awesome word. Encouragement. You walk in our center and you see smiles. Good morning, how are you? We approach everything with a smile, even if we have to redirect someone who is not feeling themselves that day. You do it with a smile. You approach everything with encouragement. And we will, do you want to? Let's do this. That way, it keeps everything upbeat. We try to keep everybody independent as possible. That way they can maintain that and maintain that in their family life, and that way they can stay at home and still come and visit us during the day.
You have a lot of confidence, I'm learning as I get to know you. I think that has a lot to do with that participant of wanting to be there, and as you say, the encouragement. They can improve
Yes.
life. Is that rather than just kind of doing nothing, you do a lot. Activity is a vital part of the Ruby Blackburn Center.
Yes, we try to keep everybody up and moving all the time. A lot of times you'll bring your participant in, your family member, you'll bring them in and they're very reluctant to stay because they think you're not coming back to get them. And then you give them a day or two around us and us talking and laughing and cutting up and interacting with others. And then you get to the point to where you're bringing your family member even when you don't have anything else to do because they refuse to stay home. They want to come where the fun is. They want to come where they can get excited and they're useful and they're wanted and they're needed, and we make a big deal about everybody that comes in there. There's no favorites, there's no, big I's and little U's, there's everybody. We all work together to try to encourage and keep a smile on their face and make them feel better. A lot of times they'll come in and, well, Mom didn't have a good night, she didn't have a good evening, but she comes in and we're constant. We never change. We don't move the furniture. The staff is always the same. We're there every day. We have a structured schedule. So when they come back and they're in their norm, then they are feeling more themselves, and by the end of the day, they're doing better.
Ms. Staley, talk about staff, that core of caregivers that dedicated life to matter, and for those individuals who need help. Would you, there are 8 of you, right?
There are 9 of us.
9 of us, and just not names, but what do individuals do?
Well, if you don't mind, I will share their names because they are a vital part of our team.
Yes.
Our executive director is Jennifer Snyder. You've had several meetings with her. She keeps us going. She writes our grants and funds our funding, and sometimes she gets to come out and interact with our participants, and that's her most favorite part of the day, because she gets to talk to them and they're excited to see her and they call her by name. Then we have our office manager, Derry Miller, and she does our finances, and on top of that, she comes out and she interacts with the participants, and she helps all that go on, and she answers the telephones, and she does all that. Then you have Sharon Blackburn, who is our dietary manager, and she opens up at 6 a.m. Without that, we couldn't do. She's there. She's steady all the time there. She's a key role in our program. She gets everybody started in the mornings. She's the first one they see. So she's there at 6 a.m. serving them breakfast, knowing exactly how they take their coffee, knowing they like juice instead of coffee, and we might have blueberry muffins on the menu, and she knows that they want oatmeal instead of blueberry muffins. She is amazing. Then you have me as the program director, and then you have Gladys Roberts. She's our community outreach. When we have fundraisers, she's the one that calls and gets our sponsorships, and she's also an LPN by her trade. So when our nurse is not there, she steps in for our nurse. She's also a program assistant. She wears many hats, as well as being there the longest. Her and Jennifer's been there since day one, so they're our anchors. They know exactly how everything goes. Then you have our nurse, our healthcare coordinator, Anna Seeley. She's got her BSN. She's only been with us since October, but she's really found her place there. I was privileged to work with Anna at Wilkes Senior Village, and then when our nurse, Ashley, she decided on a different path, then we were blessed to have her, and she joined our team, and she does magnificent. She keeps all of our healthcare stuff going because we're a healthcare center. She keeps all that up to date, keeps all that going. Her interaction with the participants is amazing. Then you have our 3 program assistants, Brandy Caudill and Jeannie Cleary and Mary Jo Hart. And Jeannie and Mary Jo, they're there in the evenings, and they close everything up, they wind everything down, they make sure everything's ready for in the morning when we come in. It's all a fine-tuned machine. Sharon gets it started. We just keep it going during the day. The girls in the afternoon, they know exactly what to do. I mean, everybody has their place, and everybody does a great job.
What time do you open?
6 o'clock in the morning.
And you close?
6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. And is that weekends? You open on weekends?
No, we're only Monday through Friday. We're closed limited holidays. The way that our pricing goes, we charge by the day, not by the hour. So a lot of times that helps out the family, because a lot of our families, they work, they still hold down jobs. And so they find a place to put Mom during the day that she's safe and she's cared for, and they don't have to worry about her.
Describe a caregiver and her person, and what time they get there and how long they stay, and just a real life scenario about one of your participants and the person behind the scenes that goes and does other things while you do your thing?
We have Miss Louise. She's our earliest riser, I guess. She's there about 6:30 in the morning. She comes in and Miss Sharon gets her breakfast, and her daughter goes to work. She's able to go to work 5 days a week for 8 to 10 hour shifts, and she'll come pick up her mom around 3:30 or 4. And her mom's been taken care of. She's had breakfast, she's had lunch, and she's had a snack in the afternoon. So she's well taken care of. She's been safe, she's been warm, and they can pick her up, take her home, feed her supper. Everybody's happy. So, I mean, it keeps her financially stable because she continues to work, as well as her mom is safe and she doesn't have to put her in a long-term facility. She can keep her with her. We have several like that.
Okay. And how many participants do we have?
We average about 35 participants a day, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, but it seems like the more participants we have during the day, the more they take care of one another. It's pretty awesome. The elders find a place with the younger ones, and the younger caregiver wants to take care of the older ones, and they form bonds and friendships. And
talk about that bonding.
We have one lady, her name is Lucy, and she comes in and she thinks that she's a volunteer, and we continue that and let her think that, because she is a very good caretaker. She does our Bible study on some days. Sometimes, we have very diligent volunteers, but sometimes they just can't make it because of life. And so during that time, Miss Lucy will get her Bible and she'll do Bible study for all of our participants. Then she'll turn around and she has a lady named Charlene that if Charlene doesn't arrive on WTA by 10 o'clock, she's wanting us to call Charlene and make sure she's coming, because that's her purpose. She comes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday to take care of Miss Charlene. And we have Miss Linda. She's able to take care of the participants that need her. She sweeps the floors after lunch. She wipes the tables down after lunch. She's able to comfort or soothe some of the participants that may get a little upset. They work so good together, and it seems like the more we have, the better day it is, because they help each other. They miss each other when they're not there.
So you have openings today if someone's listening or seeing us today that we have room.
Oh,
right?
Yes. Yeah, we're licensed for 65 and we average 35 a day. So yeah, we have plenty of room for anybody that wants to come. There's no waiting list. The process for that, you just call and set up an interview, or just drop by and tour the center. Somebody's always readily accessible to show you our center and show you all the great things that we do in a day. You'll fill out a small packet of paperwork from your physician, because we are a healthcare center. We require medical clearance and things like that. Then, you can start as quick as tomorrow. We set up a trial visit, and what the trial visit does, it just helps us to assess the person and their needs, as well as giving you a small window to get used to, dropping mom or dad off with us. And that day is completely free. The first day you come is no charge. And then we'll fill out your assessment and go from there.
Ms. Kristin Staley, tell us about volunteers and you have openings. Tell us about the role of the volunteer at the Ruby Blackburn Center.
We have different types of volunteers. We have daily volunteers, and we have sporadic volunteers. Our main volunteers are the people that come and do our programs during the day. I fill in the gaps wherever I need to, but they really enjoy music. Music and memory are extremely important. So we try to get people that can play the piano or play the guitar or sing to them or do magic tricks. We had a magician come not too long ago. Anything. We have a homeschooling group that
comes.
And
music is the favorite entertainment for our participants?
The most favorite. They love music, they love to interact, and they'll sing every word to every song that is played, whether it be gospel or Elvis or country or anything like that. They love it. We have our current county commissioner, David Gamble. He comes by, and he's amazing on the keyboard and the piano. And he plays all kinds of songs and Elvis songs, and they'll get up and start dancing with us. You met Billy yesterday
Yes.
on the way in.
Yeah.
He's a catbird. He'll get up and dance with us, and he'll come get one of the staff members because he knows we'll dance with him. And
Is that the guy with the guitar now?
no, that was Robert.
Robert. Tell
Yes.
us, and he's saying how great they are by Elvis, and I'll never forget that.
He's extremely nice. He comes, most of our volunteers are on a set schedule. They'll come every Monday morning, or like Robert, he comes every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. He sings until 11, or whenever the participants let him quit singing, and because they do enjoy him very much. And he mixes up his, he does whatever they want him to do. Yesterday they wanted some on the guitar, and then they wanted some on the piano. So a lot of times our volunteers come in with trying to do us a service and leave with a blessing, because they're needed, they're wanted, they love you. I mean, as soon as you walk in the door, they love you. They want to talk to you. Miss Kay, she runs up to everybody and hugs them and tells them how much she loves them. And we have Larry with the birthdays.
Talk about Larry.
Larry is he's an awesome participant. He started out at ADAP, and then he was able to come when he got retiring age. He came to the center, and from the day one he meets you, he'll introduce himself as Larry, and he'll ask you when your birthday is. And if you tell him your birthday is May the 2nd, he'll tell you exactly what day it is, what day of the week it's on, and he will never ever forget your birthday. And he can,
oh my goodness.
He doesn't look at a calendar. He doesn't study up on it. It's just in his head. He can get it right even on a leap year. I mean, he's pretty amazing. He can sit and tell me when my birthday is, when my husband's birthday is, when my anniversary is, and he never forgets.
During my visit, when we were sharing together, I was thinking about, as you told me, how they bond, how the participants become a family. Ms. Staley, talk about that just a little bit.
Like I said earlier, like Miss Lucy, Miss and Shirlene when she's not there, they always make sure they take care of one another. And she lives alone, and her mode of transportation is WTA, and she comes. And when she's not there, they have little groups. They have Billy and Cornelius and Ann and Larry. They all sit together, and they joke and kid during lunch. And we'll be sitting down eating our lunch, and you'll hear a big burst of laughter. You go out there, and they're picking fun with one another and talking about this and that and the other and laughing and cutting up. And then, like, you have Miss Linda, who is nurturing, and she makes sure that she takes care of everyone. She gets them water during the day. And then you have Miss Kay and Bill. They hang out with one another. And Bill will sit and talk to Kay. Kay talks nonstop, but Bill will sit and talk to her. You have JB and Mr. Revel. You have John. He comes. He wanted to get his hair cut the other day, and I mentioned to him that the beautician would be there the next day. Well, his daughter wasn't planning on bringing him, and he got up, he got ready, and he said, "Let's go. It's time to go to the center." And part of our family, we do a lot of things for our participants. We have parties for every season. We were able to take donations and purchase presents for them for Christmas. And we have Santa come. And it's so great because we pool our resources, and we're able to get them a Christmas present, and we're able to get them things that they want and need and bring a smile to their face.
Thank you so much for this. What an honor to have you here, and your uplifting spirit will leave a ever significant positive impression on us. And we want to thank Wilkes Communications for having us here, and River Street Productions and 100.9. As a program director, tell us about, as we close, tell me about how your life has improved and how much better things are because of the opportunity at the Ruby Blackburn Adult Daycare Center.
Well, we are a family like no other. We We encourage one another. We uplift one another, like you said. We always bring a smile to each other, and enjoying where you work is most important in life. If you're miserable and you don't like where you're going, you're going to spread that around, I guess. So I guess working at a place like this and touching the hearts of others, it's very encouraging.
As you touch, yours is touched.
Yes.
So Kristin Staley, you've honored us today, and I hope you'll consider coming back and doing this again.
Sure.
God bless you for being
Thank you.
with us. Thank you.
Thank you.